I was a little bit scared when I heard the word ketamine for the first time. Let's talk more about ketamine. One of you asked a great question about ketamine and what I've tried so far leading up to this point. Great question. I love your questions. I love answering your questions. Please keep them coming. I've tried everything. That is not an understatement. I've tried almost everything. I've tried SSRIs, SNRIs, mood stabilizers. That did not end well. I actually had an allergic reaction to the mood stabilizers, or yeah, an allergic reaction. They gave me allergy meds to counter the reaction that I had. So my nurse practitioner said, no more mood stabilizers. And that's when the ball got rolling on me trying ketamine. Also, I want to say that I didn't cut straight to meds. I tried yoga, I've tried meditation, I've tried being social, I've tried everything. And while those things help improve my mood, I still felt so depressed. It was hard to get out of bed. It is still hard to get out of bed. I'm not saying ketamine has even fixed that, to be honest, because I still have to kind of yank myself out of bed or have to have something that motivates me to get up, like a friend call or an appointment that I've scheduled. Let's be honest, I don't normally schedule appointments in the morning. I normally schedule them in the afternoon. So, friends, bring on the phone calls. Leading up to this, I want to preface all of that by saying prior to trying mental health medication, I worked with a therapist and focused on my sobriety. My main tool for getting clean and sober was going to meetings. That worked for me for a period of time, and I've actually been considering going back to meetings lately for the community, for the sponsorship, and to give back, pay it forward, like carry on the message. Step 12. Well, I mean, really, step 12. I could do a whole other thing on step 12. We're not going to go into step 12 right now. 11 and 12 are my favorite. Anyways, what were we talking about? Oh, yeah. So leading up to my treatment, I focused on going to meetings. That was my main method of staying sober. And to address my mental health, I was seeing a therapist once a week. That went on for about 18 months before I almost took a step back from recovery and threw my 18 months of sobriety away because my mental health was not all right. At 18 months, that is when I started taking mental health medication, although the process was long and treacherous. It was not a straight shot. Some people get lucky with their first mental health med. I was not one of those people. It took me several different medications over the course of about a year in order to find the chemical cocktail, if you will, that I currently take. Like I said, we started with SSRIs, went to SNRIs, tried mood stabilizers. Also, my nurse practitioner is a rock star, and she gave me a genetic profile test, I think is what it's called, a genetic test, GeneSight, and it showed the different medications that I would likely have an interaction with. So as soon as my nurse practitioner saw that, we saw that the first 30 things that I had been prescribed were not a good fit for my genetics. And we started trying other things. So all that being said, tried everything on the list and nothing has actually helped as much, or if at all. I was trying to sugarcoat it. Most of those things that I tried made my depression worse, or one thing I tried gave me, made me sleepy, made me drowsy during the day, and I would fall asleep no matter what time. Didn't matter. It didn't matter what time I took it. I took it at night, the day, I was falling asleep. Let's talk about what made me try ketamine. In all honesty, I was a little bit scared when I heard the word ketamine for the first time because, as you might have heard, I have only heard ketamine used in party settings. I've heard of K-holes. I've heard of Special K. What else have I heard? I never realized that it was a therapeutic treatment until my nurse practitioner told me that it might be a good fit for me. I couldn't afford it. So we talked about it. It would come up during our appointments together, but always the question that I couldn't afford it. So flash forward, thank God the tides turned, the stars aligned, and all of a sudden I was able to afford it. Thank God. I've received 3 treatments so far. I just am getting done with a 2-week stretch of not receiving treatment. And I was so scared that I was going to fall back into that 3 and 4 range. And I'll say that I have felt better in past weeks than I felt this past week, but I never really dipped below the 4.5 range. And I was able to bring myself up to neutral or better just by doing things in my daily life, interacting with people, taking walks, interacting with people. That's a huge one for me. Jokes aside, the ketamine has really helped me. So to sum up that question, what made me try ketamine? My nurse practitioner brought it up, and I cannot stress enough. Oh, I should put a disclaimer in here. This is not medical advice. I am not a medical professional. This is not mental health advice. I am not a mental health professional. Please talk to your doctor or your mental health professional about what might be best for you. Ketamine is not a good fit for everyone. And so I cannot stress enough. Maybe I don't want to stress you out. I don't want to stress me out. I recommend talking with your healthcare providers about ketamine treatment if it's something that you're interested in. I forgot what I was talking about again. Oh, so if you're thinking about ketamine treatment, definitely talk with your medical care team. I don't know if primary care is the way to go. You might want to see a specialty psychiatrist, or I see a psychiatric nurse practitioner, I think is what she's called. Yeah, she's a psychiatric nurse practitioner. So find your person, talk to them about if you would be a good fit for treatment. Just as another disclaimer, I did receive therapy for about 2 years before I started ketamine treatment, received a few different diagnoses. And so my nurse practitioner really knew what was going on with me. And I think that's a part of what's recommended to go alongside ketamine treatment is therapy, support from a trained psychotherapist. And speaking of therapy, I see my therapist once or twice a week. If I am having really rough times, like I'll tell on myself here and admit to you that before I started ketamine treatment, I was having series of 3 out of 10 days and 4 out of 10 days. So much so that my therapist actually had me checking in with her once a day for several weeks. And then even as I transitioned from this 2-week period of no ketamine treatment, or like 2 weeks between treatments, I had to reach out to my therapist a couple times too, because I wasn't feeling so hot. And she was there for me. I can't tell you how much having a therapist there's a freaking fly. I can't tell you how much having a therapist has helped me, and having one that I feel connected with and that I trust makes a huge difference for what it's worth. Another thing that you asked that I just realized I didn't answer is if I tried ECT, which I believe is like an electrical stimulation therapy. Hold on, I'm going to look that up really quick because I want to make sure I'm answering your question correctly. Okay, I got to the bottom of it. So electroconvulsive therapy, ECT, is a procedure done under general anesthesia in which small electric circuits, or no, currents, not circuits, small electrical currents are passed through the brain, intentionally triggering a brief seizure. ECT seems to cause changes in brain chemistry that can quickly reverse symptoms of certain mental health conditions. Okay, so ECT is an electric therapy. The answer is no, I have not tried that. I don't know how I feel about it. It's never been brought up in any kind of mental health session that I've had. I don't get seizures, so I don't know why it hasn't been brought up, but ketamine and psilocybin are treatments that have been brought up for me. So why that is, I do not know. What I do know is that ketamine has worked by far, without question, no contest. In case I haven't been clear, ketamine has worked to the absolute best for me. Seriously though, what were we talking about?